Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of my diagnosis rant. Today I'm going to be talking about something really common in the athletic population, and that is patella tendinopathy, also known as jumper's knee. Patella tendinopathy is a sharp pain felt in the patella tendon or ligament due to a forceful contraction of the quadricep muscle. It can also be tender to the touch in the patella apex or base. The reason I've decided to talk about this first is because it's something that I've suffered with in the past before, and it took me about 3 or 4 years to get over. The main reason that it took me so long to get over this was one, because it took me a while to find a physio that I really clicked with and treated me the way that was most beneficial to me, and two, I was really in denial about the injury, as I was playing sport 4 to 5 times a week and still going to the gym 5 or 6 times a week. And it got to the point where if I was playing touch footy on Monday night, after the game I would go home and ice my knees for an hour or two, then I'd go to bed. In the morning I'd wake up with debilitating knee pain and could barely even walk down the stairs, and by the end of the day my knees were feeling alright, so I would go off and play basketball and netball and just repeat the cycle. Now you're probably wondering, how did I sort this issue out? Well, that was a lot of hard work, but basically what I had to do first of all was take some time off playing sport and squatting so much, which really sucked at the time, but that was beneficial to let the inflammation and the actual injury just calm down a little bit. Then from there, once it had calmed down a little bit, I was able to start doing some easy isometric training for my quads just to strengthen them up a little bit. Then from there, the usual progression from isometric to more compound movements and including the core. But what I really found helped was strengthening up my hamstrings and the external rotators of the hip. The reason training the glute med and min was so important in my recovery was because due to the knee pain I had experienced for so long, my movement patterns were compensating and they weren't doing a good job of it. So it took a while to retrain my glutes to work properly, but when they did, it allowed them to take a lot of the stress off my knees and actually let my quads do the work rather than letting all the stress go through the patella ligament. And the recovery wasn't straightforward, and it was kind of a roundabout way to get there, where sometimes I would be feeling really good and I would decide that I could do a little bit more in my training, and then it would hurt and I would go backwards. And really what it just taught me was being able to listen to my body and know when I should push and when I should just have a rest. That was probably the biggest takeaway from that injury for me. And while it did take me like a solid year and a half from when I first started actually being serious about treating it to it getting better, and me being to a point where I can play sport and have confidence that my knees aren't going to be sore afterwards, or I could squat and not be in pain the next day. So thank you for listening to the first episode, and hopefully you've got something to take away from this.